Sandman, bring me a dream. Make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Give her two lips like roses and clover, and tell her that her lonely nights are over. Oh, Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. So please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Oh, Sandman, bring us a dream. Make her the cutest I've ever seen. Give her two lips like roses and clover, and tell her that her lonely nights are over.
What is going on, United Speed fam? You're watching another episode of Turbo Time. Let's take off and go. Alright guys, so I want to talk to you guys today about, we've all basically known this truck was going to come out, and I'm sitting in a Mopar getting ready to talk to you guys about a Mopar, and this truck has literally been, we've all been waiting on this truck since the last one came out in 2007 or 8 from the SRT10 Ram. So now we finally have a new high performance Ram, okay? It's called the Ram TRX. It's meant to take place of like a T-Rex. Why didn't they call it a T-Rex? I don't know. But it's called the Ram TRX. It is coming out in 2021, and this truck is literally, the figures to it are literally mind-blowing, okay? So, it does 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, alright? Now, that may not seem like a lot to a car, but for a truck to do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, alright? Just let that sink in for a second. A heavy, like all metal truck that probably weighs close to 7,000 pounds, right? Is doing 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds. And again, it's out of a 702 horsepower Hellcat motor, a 6.2 liter supercharged V8. This one's making about 702 horsepower because the entire point of the truck is to go off-roading. So when you're going off-roading, usually you're having debris, you're having water, you're having, dirt, mud, sand, get into your actual engine bay itself. And obviously, for a normal Hellcat motor, that will actually suck up a lot of that debris and dirt and everything else. So the air intake on the truck itself has been a little bit more restricted than other Hellcat, models like the Challenger, the Charger, Durango, the Grand Cherokee. The Ram is a little bit more restricted. That's why it's only making 702 horsepower compared to the normal 717 that it makes now. But you still have a 700 horsepower V8 in a truck. So let me get back on topic here. I'm sorry. So first of all, we're going to talk about basically where it came from. All right. So as we all know, back in 2003, 2004, when the first SRT10 Ram came out, that's basically a Ram truck with a Viper power plant in it. That's all it was. They didn't do anything else besides do that. They literally took an 8.3 liter Dodge Viper V10 and dropped it into the Ram and called it a high performance truck. That's all they did. The truck made about 500 horsepower and it was absolutely mind blowing back then. That one did 0 to 60 in about 4.5, 4.6 seconds, and that was mind blowing for 2003. Okay, that's out of this realm back then. And now here we are today, roughly 17 years later, and we have a 700 horsepower, 6.2 liter supercharged V8 going into the new Rams today. So basically what I love about this truck is that it literally it's a no given car. That's all it is. It literally you have zero given. It's literally the most badass, the most powerful, the fastest pickup truck ever created by any production car manufacturer in the world. So obviously we have the Ford Raptor, right? The one thing that no one likes about the Raptor, and we all asked for from the beginning, and Ford never listened to us, was to put a V8 in the truck. They never did it. So here we go with Dodge doing it. And now, I think they've already sold, several thousand units, and the truck isn't even out yet, basically. So off the bat, you can tell this will be a big hit. It's going to be a huge hit. So going into the exterior of the truck, right? So in order for it to fit the massive 35-inch tires that are on the truck, they had to widen the truck. So what they did was they made the truck roughly about 8 inches wider than the standard Ram 1500. And with that being said, that gives you more of that menacing, that more raw look to the truck that you would get. For instance, a Baja truck. Honestly, the truck looks like an actual true Baja truck. It literally gets that feeling. It has that same look to it. And it's literally one of the, in my opinion, the best looking truck to date. So, as well as that being said, it sits roughly a few inches higher. And so with that being said, this truck is really meant to go off-roading. You're meant to take it off-roading, meant to go down sand, go into the dunes, and just basically tear it up. You are literally meant to tear this truck up. Again, like I said earlier, this truck, you give zero crap whatsoever because you know the truck is meant for it. You know the truck can handle it. So with that being said, the truck does sit a few inches higher, similar again to how a Baja truck sits. And like I said, it has a reinforced frame. It has different shocks on it. Literally, the truck is meant to go through dunes, meant to go off-roading, meant to go over jumps. As you guys saw in the video that I had in the first portion of this video, the opening, basically the opening scene, this truck is literally meant to just tear up whatever surface that it's on. That's all it's meant to do. And that's what I love about it. With that being said too, so a lot of people that's going to buy this truck knows what the truck is meant to do. So Mopar knows what the truck's meant to do also, obviously. So they actually have bead-locked wheels. And so with that being said, people who want to take the truck rock crawling, when you deflate your tires, it helps you get a little bit more grip, a little bit more surface area to the ground, so that way you're actually being able to put the power down versus, not getting any grip whatsoever. So the truck has bead-locked tires and wheels. And I don't think there's any other manufacturer out there that does that. I don't even think Ford did that with the Raptor. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I do not think that Ford did that with their Raptor even. So a lot of the technology that came for the off-roading, in my opinion, I believe came a lot from Jeep as well. Because obviously y'all know the Jeep Wrangler, the Wrangler boys, they're all, taking the Jeep Wranglers off-roading and everything else. So a lot of the technology trickled down from the Jeep Wrangler onto this. And this is by far one of the best trucks out there right now, to be honest with you. I cannot wait to actually drive one and review it and see what it's actually like to actually fully drive and review. But as of right now, this is just more of a virtual, review to seeing, trying to get the hype up a little bit, basically. So, with that being said, let's go back to the performance, all right? Because the performance of this car is still just out of this world, mind-blowing. The truck uses a 2.4-liter supercharged V8. A 2.4-liter supercharger capacity supercharger along with a 6.2-liter supercharged V8 that's in it. So with that being said, 702 horsepower out of the 6.2-liter supercharged V8 in a truck. I know I keep saying that, but that's in a truck. Like, I remember back in the day, usually whenever you have a truck, usually people look more for torque, more for, pulling power, towing power, stuff like that. But this is a truck, I mean, yeah, you can tow it and everything else. Don't get me wrong at all. But it's a truck you can literally just sit there and go over dunes and jumps and stuff with it. And I know, the Raptor came out first and everything else, and the Raptor was the hype of the world and everything else originally. But the Raptor is a baby compared to this truck. Even Mopar, and this is why I love Mopar too, all right? So Mopar, throughout the truck, under the hood, in the little center console as well too, they have the T-Rex dinosaur, aka TRX Dodge Ram, eating a Raptor. And that's throwing some shade to Ford, and I love that. So like I said, that is really what. That's why I love Mopar, because they just don't care. They want to have fun. They want to build cars that are just strictly just for fun and not having a single, racing dynamic characteristic in the world at all. Like, for instance, the Dodge Challenger Demons, the Dodge Challenger Hellcats, they're literally only meant to go in a straight line to go around corners sliding. They don't care about going around corners at 2G and, holding a corner at 200 miles an hour. They only care about going around the corners in this tire smoke and having a huge smile on your face. And that's why I love them. Same with this truck. Going off-roading, blasting through the dunes, having a huge smile on your face and not having a single care in the world, basically. So, with that also being said, too, the interior is actually pretty basic, to be honest with you. Like, it's not basic, but it's very Dodge Rammy, I'm sorry. So, it's very luxurious. It has leather seats, heated and cooled seats. It has that huge multimedia touchscreen display. You also have paddle shifters in it as well. I mean, the Dodge Ram interior, is basically just a Dodge Ram interior. It's all it really is. And that's, basically it. So with that being said too, the gas mileage on this car honestly reminds you a lot of back in the day again of how the old Dodge Rams, that's 10 Dodge Rams got 0 miles a gallon basically. So this one basically averages, I hope you get to sit down for it because your mind's gonna be blown by this gas mileage. I'm telling you right now, okay? This thing gets in the city 10 miles a gallon and 14 mpg on the highway. All right, like again, it's a truck that gives absolutely no crap whatsoever. So that is probably, I want to say to this, like in current time, that is probably the worst gas mileage of any vehicle, of any production vehicle out currently. Like, you can say screw Bugatti, screw Koenigsegg, screw Lamborghini. The Dodge Ram TRX gets the worst gas mileage out of any vehicle out there being currently produced. That's just all it is. Like, you cannot get this thing, or you cannot keep this thing at 20 miles a gallon at all. But again, I love it for that. Like, it has that, again, that no F given characteristic of it. And that's why I feel like it is probably the best truck out there. It's better than the Raptor, in my opinion. It's better than the GMC trucks out there, obviously, because, GM trucks out there because, again, that huge, beefy, supercharged V8. That's the biggest reason why. So, now this thing, again, will do 0-60 in about 3.8 seconds and will handle the quarter mile in roughly 12.3 seconds. Again, out of almost a 7,000 pound truck, I'm sure. 12.3 seconds, quarter mile. Like, that's incredible, okay? So, going on to my final impression about this truck, okay? Again, like I've been saying, this is the most badass truck created. Like, there's no truck out there currently that can, there's no production truck out there currently that can even get close to what this thing can do, okay? So, with that being said, we're going to go on a little rant about Ford real quick, because every single Raptor owner, first-gen Raptor owner, said the second-gen Raptor will not be good without it having a V8. Now, agree to disagree. The V6 is, I guess, decent for what it is. However, the V6 got pretty horrible gas mileage in real world time, I guess. The V6 got very bad gas mileage. It made decent power. Don't get me wrong, it made very decent power, but it had a very horrible soundtrack to it. No one likes the way the new Raptor sound at all. It sounds like you're farting in a can. That's all it is. And a lot of purists, a lot of truck owners told Ford they didn't like that at all. Ford never listened, so they lost out on actually quite a few customers, believe it or not. And so comparing the first gen Raptor to the second gen Raptor, a lot of people didn't really like it. The design it looks really good. Don't get me wrong at all, but a lot of people didn't really like it because it felt too, I guess, wimpy to them a lot of times. I haven't driven a second gen Raptor yet. I have driven a first gen supercharged Raptor, and that thing was an absolute animal. Don't get me wrong. That first gen 6.2 liter, like I said, the one I drove was a Roush edition Raptor. So it had the Roush Charger, supercharged, Raptor, supercharged V8. And I think it made around like 580-ish horsepower. This was probably about 5-6 years ago. I drove it. But it made, I think, right around like 580-ish horsepower, I want to say, to the crank, obviously. It was a very badass truck. That's not what a lot of people can say about the new one, for example. I mean, yeah, it has a lot better, off-road capabilities than the first gen Raptor did. However, not a lot of people go off-roading with their Raptors like it was built for. So as far as on the street wise, it just feels like another normal truck basically with a 3.5 liter V6, twin turbo V6. So that's where a lot of customers didn't really like the second gen Raptor because A, of the soundtrack, B, of the V6, and honestly, I still don't like it because of the V6. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna have a truck like that gets bad gas mileage either way, in the real world gets bad gas mileage anyway, it has a horrible soundtrack, then why would you buy it? Why not just go out and get a TRX basically? So there is that. So again, talk more about the Raptor now because this is the main competition of the TRX. There has been spy shots of Ford saying of there being a V8 Raptor, right? So a new V8 Raptor. Supposedly, again, Ford didn't confirm this yet. Supposedly it will use the new GT500's 5.2 liter supercharged V8. Now, with that being said, all right, I do want to say this. Yes, you can use that. Don't get me wrong. It's supposedly going to have over 700 horsepower, which is fine. It's perfectly fine. I love that. However, when I have a strong suspicion that when Ford brings that out, because that's Ford's top of the line motor, right? Like that you can't get any better than that from Ford, at least production wise, as of right now. Dodge has a couple other motors that they can easily drop into the TRX to compete with the upgraded Raptor, the V8 Raptor, that will still blow out the water. So if Dodge really wanted to, I feel like, honestly, eventually, I feel like we will see an 800 to 850 horsepower Dodge Ram from the factory. Because, again, their one thing is that they are trying to basically I don't want to say go after Ford, but in a fun way, go after Ford basically, because they want to have the best truck out there. They want to have the most badass raw truck out there you could possibly get with. And so, like I said, eventually, because recently they've been upgrading their Hellcat motors. So as you all know, the Hellcat started out with 707 horsepower. Then it went to 717. Then we saw the Demon come out with the 808 horsepower, and let's put the upgraded ECU and race fuel in it, that goes up to 840. Now we currently have the Super Stock and also the Red Eye Edition Challenger Hellcats. So again, with that being said, the Super Stock Hellcat, I believe, has 808 horsepower, which is basically the Demon's motor without the race fuel and the upgraded ECU. And they also have the Red Eye, which is, again, the Demon motor without the upgraded ECU and race gas, and a little bit of a detuned version of it. That's all really 797 horsepower still making, though. So, eventually, I really do think that we will see a production Dodge Ram making over 800 horsepower to compete, if Ford did come out with this truck, to compete with the supercharged V8 Raptor if they do come out with it. Again, those have only been spy shots. Ford hasn't actually confirmed anything yet, so I can't fully say that they are going to bring it out because I don't know for certain, but I do have a feeling that they will, or else, the spy shots wouldn't have been out there yet. But if they do bring that out, be prepared for there being a horsepower wars on truck. Like we have the horsepower wars on our muscle car right now, there will be a horsepower wars on our trucks. And I am completely excited to see how that comes out. Like I honestly, if I get the money anytime soon, I really want to buy a TRX. Like, obviously, you guys know, I need me a truck. I have the Volvo, I now have the Honda, and I have the Camaro, and I have another car that might be coming in pretty soon also, too. I need me a truck and a TRX. So the TRX starts out around $73,000. That's the sort of base price. It can go up from there. Obviously, the more options you add, if you want to get the light bar in the back of it, because they also have that giant like TRX TRX, I think they call it a TRX bar or whatever it's called, where it's basically like a Baja package truck at that point. You have the spare tire in the bed of the truck, you have the light bar on top of it and everything else. So we'll see what happens when it comes, you know, to Ford versus Dodge, basically. And like I said, I'm really excited to see how this comes out. This may be one of the like last few hoorahs of the V8 world right now, because, you know, obviously what we all have going on right now with the EPA and the world, and, you know, the environment and everything else. So we'll see what happens. But I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. I hope you guys like it. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, smash that like button, join the United Speed fam, and we'll see you guys later. Peace. Event right now, as you guys can see. My friend Robert right there got his gorgeous Camaro. My mom hates my Camaro.
Ow! Stop! Man, I'm about to knock you out, boy.
So thanks everyone, we appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and hit that bell for notifications. Yep. We appreciate you all, we love you all. From the Evolution family, we'll see you guys soon.
Yep.
Peace.